10-miler. So I was thinking of my jogging days when I could do that. And that used to be so much fun, and I'd be just totally connected with all that is and could feel that oneness when I could jog, you see. Oh, okay. So we have those memories, but let's bring it to the present. Can I jog 10 miles anymore? Absolutely not. I can't, but that's okay. How do I connect with God now? When I first started having a little bit of a handicap here, I I was frustrated because a lot of the things I did to soothe and bring myself into the now were active. And they said, well, now you're going to learn how to be quiet and be in the now. Oh, and just be with yourself. Well, that's kind of a challenge because when you do that, anything that's not working well, you feel it, huh? And that's part of why we have taught ourselves to move out of the now, is because there are things in the now that need to be loved that we haven't loved. Those places where we aren't as skilled, that we don't have all the answers, that we just get kafuzzled. I was laughing because my brother came home from Wisconsin. That's where we grew up. And they have a room after you go through checking your bags that's called the discombobulation room. I thought that's so perfect. Yeah, they actually have a sign that says that in the room where everyone's putting their shoes on and putting everything back where it belongs. And I thought, that's a great word to play with because it's fun to say and it gets you to the now. You say that word, you'll be in the now. Oh, things are discombobulated. Oh, I'm here. Oh, how nice. Find words like that bring you to the now easily. It's an okay thing to have in your pocket. And when you aren't in the now, let yourself know that you miss being in the now. That you let yourself have that. That you miss yourself then. You aren't connected with you. So anything you do doesn't have the power that you have when you're present. It's hard to be expressing love when you're not available to receive love. And you can't receive love unless you're in the now. Oh man, there's all kinds of reasons why we got to be in the now, huh? Good reasons. And then when we get to the now, what do most of us do? Exactly. We do. Exactly. What if being in the now really means being in the now? What if you own the power of your own energy, the power of your own love? You don't have to be doing a whole lot to love. You know that, huh? Yeah. Yes. It's the being that we're hungry for. It's the being with each other that we're hungry for. It's, oh, we can take a breath together. Thank goodness. Oh, can I lean on you for a moment? Oh, that felt good. Can you lean on me for a moment? Oh, that felt good. Okay. You see, that's what we're here for. We're here to be a team to elevate our harmonics so that they make this beautiful music called life. Uh-huh. And we can't make that music if you're not in your own harmonic. And guess what? Where is your harmonic expressed? In the now. Boy, this is a recording, isn't it? In the now, in the now. That's what I kept getting, in the now, in the now. And so I thought, isn't this funny? This is a very emphatic in the now. Okay. So I was playing with this because once I know my topic, then I'm going to play with it for a while and see what happens. It's kind of how I live my life. my life. And I was working with a couple the other day, and they came in very discouraged, hopeless, and one was mad as hell, and the other one was totally in a shell. I thought, oh boy, this ought to be a fun hour or two. What are we going to do here? Gang, I need some help here. And what we discovered was that what they were fighting with were they weren't fighting with their hearts. They weren't fighting with who they were. They were fighting with head stuff. Head stuff. You don't love me because you didn't do this. And I asked you to do this. I forgot. I'm sorry. Right? No, that's not how it works. Does that sound familiar? Yes. So I said, okay, there's a couple teenagers here in the room. And you know about teenagers, they're very harsh. They're especially harsh on themselves. They're especially judgmental to themselves. They never have a body that's acceptable. It's always something wrong with it. I'm too thin, I'm too fat, my eyes should be blue rather than brown, my hair should be a different color, but that's fun to do different colored hair. That's a whole different story. But we don't say, oh, wow, what a neat package I've got. Well, let's start saying that, because you each have a neat package. Huh? Wow. Oh, I can love people. Wow. I can do that easily. It's not hard. Oh, for some people, it's really hard to let go of that teenager part, and they stay fighting head to head forever. But these folks, after I said that, said, you're not going to be anywhere but where you are right now at the end of the hour unless you get to the bottom of what's really going on here. You're being mad at this person. The more you're being mad at this person's in the shell even harder, and you're both starving. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to starve. It's not fun. No, I don't think that's a cool thing. So I said, I want you to peek underneath that anger and see what's under there. That's your truth, your true emotion, so that you can tell that to the frozen person so that they come out of their shell and don't say it's their fault, you see, because that keeps them in their shell. It's your fault that I'm not happy. No, hon. Folks, the only way you can be happy is to decide to be happy. Trust me on that. I've watched it so many times in my lifetime. Oh, she said, well, when he doesn't do that, I feel abandoned and I feel overwhelmed and this and that and on and on and on. I thought, wow, that's a whole lot that never gets dealt with then, doesn't it? Oh. And our frozen person started to melt. Because now didn't have to hide, right? We don't have to protect ourselves. We aren't a bad person. Oh, we're a loving person. We love this other person. So we move to that. So what would comfort that, which is very different than comforting the other and saying, I'm sorry, that's all in the head, but it doesn't really heal the heart. And before they were over, they were really sharing a lot of love and caring, and actually were smiling. And by the end of our time, they walked out hand in hand to go for a walk together. That's how simple it is. Don't think it's a big, smart, big thing that you have to stand on your head for. All you need to do is get into the now, get into what's really at the bottom of wherever you're reacting to with a lot of head stuff, and stay present with that, because that's what keeps you from your joy. You see? So when you're layered, you never get to your joy, do you? You get it for a moment. It sneaks in occasionally because, God's like that. Keeps reminding you there is joy here, whether you like it or not, whether you're happy with what's going on right now. So we're moving now today, and by the way, happy autumn equinox. We have moved into autumn, and we've moved into the time of faith again. Oh, and so this is a very good time to be in the now and see and to trust that whatever's going on, right, is for our highest. Whatever's going on is meant to be for whatever reason. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with you except how you react to it or how you respond. So, to live life easily and to move into the new energies that are coming, we've got one more eclipse to go through, and that's about loving yourself out in the world, which is October 2nd. And then we'll have another adjustment for all of that. And then we'll move into a lighter energy that's coming in about November. Oh, how neat is that? You can leave a lot of this luggage behind. Otherwise what happens is you keep track of every time that other person didn't do what you thought they were to do in order for them to tell you they loved you. That's exhausting when you think about it. No wonder people are so tired. Wow. To keep track of all of that and then build your wall out of all of that. And then you're asking for something over here, but you're yelling. And, I don't know about you, but when someone's angry with me, I'm not going to be out there with my heart wide open saying, I love you, darling. I love you, darling. Not too easily on that one. I'm going to back off a little bit. I'm going to slow myself down. I'm going to make sure I'm safe first. And that's what happens. So everyone's moving into that safety thing. No, that is not in the now, is it? So, wow. So we're moving to this whole new opportunity. And I think the next 10 years to work to develop our divine masculine, our divine feminine to the height. That's going to be our next job. In order to do that, guess what they told me we had to do? Be in the now. Be, not do. Be. Take time to be. Okay. So my blessing to you for today is to allow yourselves to really peek under those places that you keep people away from. And first of all, for you to say, I love you, even though you have this sadness. Okay. What you're going to find there, one of the things you're going to find there is that we're doing a lot of collective grief right now. Whenever we move a big leap, like we're leaping, there's grief for what was, even if it wasn't great. We still have to grieve it because we're human. So be careful not to call grief depression. This is one of the tricks of the mind that keeps us apart. This is adversarial to call it depression when it's grief. How do you know the difference? Depression is in the belly. Grief is in the heart. Check where you feel that. And right now, everybody's grieving. I have not met one person who is not grieving something. So know that that's happening, and know that that's why community feels good. Because when we're letting go, it's good to have love around us to fill up again. Because when we let go of something, we need to fill with something else, or guess what? Kind of like sand when you dig a hole and the water comes and then there's no hole again. Yeah. So don't do that to yourself. Let yourselves be present with you. First, you have compassion for whatever it is. Then decide how you can heal that out in the world, which will be your second. You'll start to get that. Once you get the connections now, and we have this next week yet to do those connections, and where you need to have compassion for yourself that you haven't. One of the indications is any place where you have a should, there's not likely to be compassion. Okay? So that's one of the first things to look for is where are my shoulds? Where are my have tos? Because that's really a should in disguise. And where is my permission to be me? Whatever that is, as silly as that is, as goofy as we want to be. Because when you're yourself, it's a lot of fun, actually. You'd be surprised. I know you all know. You've all had that experience. What if that was 90% of the time rather than 10% of the time? I have so many people who can't find time to play, just too busy to play. We need to shift that around because play is one of the ways that we recharge in a positive way. Huh? Oh, I didn't have time to. You can't use it here. You know, when I used to live in the city and I said I didn't have time to be outside, it made sense because it was a half an hour to get to the forest preserve so I could be in nature. We do not have that issue here. We have nature all around us, and yet I find some people who forget that we have it. Well, what did you run into today? Any animals talk to you? What animals? Oh, no animals talk to you? Okay. Yeah. Anything? No. So we know that they were in their head, huh? Because they talk to us all the time. Have you noticed that? Chit, 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 the minute you go outside. Why? Because they see our hearts and they want to support our heart. The other kingdoms are much more solid. They don't go through the crises we go through. And they are consistent. It's very seldom, even I enjoy my jays a lot, my mountain jays, and they come and visit, and when we get the fledges, then we put peanuts out for the fledges, and they're really fun to watch. And they all have different personalities, even the birds do. But they're birds, and they know they're birds. And they know they strut around, and they flop their wings, and they make all kinds of different songs. And they look very comfortable with who they are, and they aren't worried about much except the day and being in the now. And of course, they are hunting food. I think we were more in the now when we were hunters and gatherers, much more in the now. And I think that indigenous people have a big secret that we need to borrow from them, and that is to be in the now. They don't have all this interference to get distracted by. Why do we have the interference to get distracted by? Oh, because we sometimes don't believe that we're lovable or worth it. And those thoughts, it's time for them to go. If you are on the planet at this point, you are loved, you are worth it, and your vibration, your harmonic, your heartfelt expression is a part of what will assist us in creating the world that you want to live in. You're all precious. You're all important. You're all valuable. And you all, thank you all for the gifts you give to our world. And bless you all. And we're going to move into our meditation at this point. So if you will, take a few breaths, breathing in love and light from the universe, breathing out love and appreciation for all that is. Claim where we are. We're here, Unity, second floor, out on Emerald Bay Road. We're going to ground here. Okay. And then we're going to take some breaths from Source, our central sun, God, to our sun, to the top of our heads, our hearts, our chi centers, out our feet, down to that sun in the center of the earth. And then we're going to take 3 nice breaths, starting at that sun in the center of the earth and bringing that energy up through our legs, our chi center, our heart center, the top of our head, our sun, central sun. Creating that I am chord that is yours, your gift from God. It's with you forever. It's your vibration, your harmonic. Then we're going to put a grounding cord right where those two meet at that sun in the center of the earth. Nice and solid, because we're going to be here on this planet in the now. Put a nice coil of copper around it so you have some flexibility. And set the intention with that. I am here on planet Earth to be blessed and bless all that I encounter. That's my job. Very nice. And now I'm going to take you down this path. Beautiful path. And at the end of it, there's a place to sit, comfortable place. It looks very nice. And there's a being sitting there waiting for you. And that being says, what do you want from me? And you say, I want to be in the now with all that I am. And the being smiles and says, how wonderful. Welcome. It's just what we need you to do. Let me help your chakras. Let me take care of these and clear them of anything that might keep you from being in the now. So he starts with that lowest chakra, that one that's, and that beautiful red bottom chakra, and he says, repeat after me. He says, I am stability. And you say, oh, I am stability. Safety and home. I am stability. And then he said, there's another piece in here that most people forget in that first chakra. Tell your body that you love it. I love you, my body. I love you, my body. All of you. Thank you for being my vehicle. Oh, and the red just is clear and there's no more fuzziness. And you move up to that second chakra around the belly button, right? And he says, now say that we're here, say, I am creativity. And you repeat, I am creativity. I am flow and flexibility. Ah, I am flow and flexibility. I am abundance. Ah, I am abundance. And that beautiful yellow center is just smiling and excited and open and happy. And then he moves up to the third and he says, okay, here's a good one, because here's where we like to control our world. And he says, I am the power of my love. I am the power of my love. And it empowers me to make good choices that work. It empowers me to make good choices that work. Oh, woo. And then we moved up to the heart center and he's looking and he says, you know, most of the time you need to really expand that. So you cover those lower three so that as you're moving into these new places in your life, you just need love to welcome home things that you've thrown out. So make sure that it's expanded. That chakra does wonders. But let's put some energy there, he said. Okay. I am loved for myself. I am loved for myself, for humanity, for nature, and the other kingdoms. Oh, I am loved for myself, humanity, nature, and the other kingdoms. Whew. And he touches the fifth chakra of that wonderful sky blue energy of the throat. I have the freedom of expression. I have the freedom of expression. I have the capacity for truth. I have the capacity for truth. And then he touches the forehead and says, I see beyond the way things are. I see beyond the way things are. And then finally, the top of the head, I am a spiritual connection to and from the divine. I am a spiritual connection to and from the divine. And at that point, you get a big hug and you're kind of floating, feeling powerful and feeling the wonderful empowerment of your love. And you give yourself a big hug and you give him a big hug and you come back and you're sitting in this room with this incredible blessing of being who you are. Thank you and bless you all.